You are watching WPTV.
Hello and welcome back. Let's skate our way through some of the NHL's burning questions with Steven, Nadia, Joe, and the other Steven. Let's start in Long Island, everyone. The Islanders won 10 of 11. Steve, do you think they're legit?
Well, Dante, before I answer that, let's take a look at some of their numbers so far this year because they're playing like the best team, or one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. They have 22 points in the year. They lost last night in overtime to the Penguins. They're 11-4. They have 46 goals. Penalty kill percentage is way high, and they've suffered 34 goals against them. Here's my thing with the Islanders. I think they're a contender. Last year, they finished second in the Metropolitan Division, right behind the Capitals. The team didn't get worse. If anything, you could say it got better. You have guys like Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, Matt Barzal. They only got better. And they're headed by, I think, one of the best coaches in history with Barry Trotz. The goaltending's playing out of its mind. The defense is high. I think this is a team to look out for in the playoffs.
Nadia?
I mean, not to discredit how well they've been playing recently, I will say they have been, doing really well. But I'm going to say pretenders for a couple of reasons. One, it's still so early in the season to be making these, really bold predictions like the Islanders are a Stanley Cup competitor. I've said this before, but if you look at similar schedules with different teams, you see a pattern with teams that have been playing really well on these really iconic winning streaks. They always fall through and they never really hold their spot later on in the season. And, speaking of streaks, this is very, such an Isles move, really, where they go on these notorious, really well played games for a couple weeks on end, and then they kind of fall back into their old routine. So, prove me wrong, I guess, but I don't think they're going to hold it.
Joe, you want to prove her wrong?
No, it is way too early. She is right, but the Islanders are contenders. They are good contenders. This is Barry Trotz's second year of the team. Now, they have brought back most of the guys from last year's team. Unfortunately, they did get swept in the second round against the Carolina Hurricane. But, overall, this Islanders team, they're going to be really good this season. They lost a big goal. They lost the Vezina Trophy winner, Robert Leonard, during the offseason, but they got two good goals. They got Thomas Gress and they got Simon Valimov. He's a veteran that they signed during this offseason. But overall, this is a returning group of guys. They know the experience, and that 10-game streak that they had was pretty good for them, and I think they're going to do pretty good the rest of the season.
See?
Oh, they're contenders.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. They're contenders. They're bringing the fire to the ice right now, okay? 10 out of their last 11. That's perfect. All right? Almost perfect. Almost perfect. All right. 90% of their goals are scored at full strength. They don't need no power plays. They're getting it done. Their squad out there, they're fine. They're fine. They're the second team to do this since the 1933/34 Atlanta Flames. Atlanta Flames isn't a team anymore. All right? That's not a team anymore.
Enough.
Huh?
That should say enough.
But they don't need the power plays. They're getting the wins. They're doing good. They're going to make the playoffs. This Islander team is to mess with.
Let's talk about a team that is not performing in New York. The Rangers, not off to the kind of start that we thought they were going to be. Steve, what's going wrong with them?
Yeah, they're not too hot right now. They're not bringing the fire to the ice right now, this Rangers team. All right, they're giving up goals left and right. Their defense is not playing good. All right, they need better defense. Consistent defense will help get them back on the winning way. Hey, they won 3 games in a row so far. They could be on the way back up, but they're not going to be. I don't mind if they give up goals. I don't like the Rangers. But they need to continue. All right, they're either giving up 7 goals a game or 1 goal a game. They need more consistency on defense, man.
Joe?
Big thing for me was this offseason. There was a lot of hype with the Rangers offseason. Rebuilding, obviously, but they're still rebuilding, unfortunately. And one thing I want to mention is they got to keep the close games. They got to win the close battles, winning those close battles is key wins also in the division and also throughout the whole season as well if they want to make a run for the playoffs this year.
Nadia?
Although I do agree with the defense, I think one of the big things with the Rangers is their lack of defense. But one of the big things really this season is their center depth. I think they are relying too much on Mika Zibanejad, and don't get me wrong, he is an elite center, but a quality center is able to kind of bounce back and forth between offense and defense and kind of serves as a third defenseman. So I think the problem is that they don't lack centers. They have plenty of centers on their roster. It's the fact that they don't have that elite talent that can kind of bounce off of Zibanejad.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that defense wins championships in every single sport. And there's a forgotten king in New York, and that's King Henrik. The goaltending, it's got to improve. I know he had a 45 save win last night, which was great to see. But him and Alexander Georgiev, that's almost impossible name to say.
Yeah.
I really don't see a lot of consistency there. And if they really want to make a late season push, one of those guys has to step up. King Henrik, I love you, but it might be time to pass the torch.
Let's start talking about players who have impressed you guys the most this season. Steve, who do you have as Big impression.
Man, John Carlson, man. Look at this guy. Washington Capitals. Look at the season he's having. He's a candidate for the Hart Trophy already, in my opinion. All right. He has 7 goals, 16 assists. His plus-minus is 11. 28 shots blocked. What?
That's gotta hurt.
And look at his time on ice, 25 minutes. All right, he's out there. He's putting in the work for his team. He's going to carry this team to the playoffs. Hey, they might go further than the Islanders in the playoffs. You never know. But John Carlson's the man for the job.
Joe?
Let me get that former 2015 first-round pick from the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid. That guy is my favorite guy right now in the NHL this season. He played 17 games so far. He's got 8 goals. He's got 15 assists. Plus-minus column, he's got 5. He's got 8 goals. And right now, every time he steps on the ice during the game, he is a big contributor to the Edmonton Oilers offense, and that's why they're hot right now. And that's why Connor McDavid is my guy this season. Most impressive.
Best player in the game right now, honestly.
Absolutely, yeah. For a young guy, too.
I'm going to say, and the stats don't lie, David Pastrnak, he is the best scorer on the best line on the best team in the NHL right now. He has 15 goals, 15 assists. He's on the ice for 18 minutes, and he has 52 shots on goal. That is so impressive, especially only having 13 games so far this season. And he is one of the only players to do that, along with Alex Ovechkin, Kucherov, and not to mention he's tied for the lead, and he's only played. He's played 2 less games this season than any of the other players in the top 5 scorers of the league. So he is just on fire.
Great names you just mentioned there.
Yeah, he's on fire.
I'm going to go with Pekka Rinne here. The guy is having a start of the season that's out of his mind. 8-1-2 on the year. He's only giving about 2 goals per game. Save percentage, .923. 21 goals allowed, 274 saves on the season. Nashville's success, I believe, starts with him. He's been so consistent for so long that if he was to take a dip, because Nashville's been so good for so long now, these past couple of years. PK Subban left the squad due to the trade, so they needed him to step up big, and he's done it so far. The number 2 goalie on the depth chart, he's 1-4 on the year. So Pekka, he's got to stay healthy, and he's been doing it so far. One of the best goalies in the game.
A lot of time left on the ice for these players to develop. It's going to be interesting to say the least. But that's all the time we have for hockey. Coming up, the NBA crew ends their shoot-around and joins the desk to discuss the biggest basketball news.